Good day. Thank you for joining us for today's news. If you find this helpful, please consider subscribing. We're here every day with calm, clear updates just for you.
In a move that has left many in regional New Zealand worried, Sounds Air is cutting two of its regional flight routes due to rising costs and supply chain challenges. The airline will no longer operate flights between Blenheim and Christchurch or Christchurch and Dublinaka. From the end of September, this follows the cancellation. Managing Director Andrew Crawford explained that the airline has been hit by soaring costs, including a sharp increase in the price of aviation parts and a weak New Zealand dollar. He said the company has exhausted all options to remain viable, and the financial burden has become too great. The decision will cost 10 employees their jobs. Aside the setbacks, the airline is focusing on its core services around the Cook Strait, which it believes are more sustainable. However, Crawford expressed frustration with the lack of government support, including a recent increase in passenger service levies that will cost the business nearly $300,000 a year. As regional airlines face mounting pressure, the situation highlights the urgent need for support to ensure these essential services remain accessible to all.
In a case that has shocked the community, Iesha Warren has been sentenced to 3.5 years in prison for stealing over $1 million from a trust that was meant to support children and families in Porirua. Warren, who worked for the Tirupu Awena Ki Porirua Trust, used her position to siphon off funds from Horley. She created fake supplier invoices, substituted her bank account for legitimate ones, and even used the trust's debit cards for personal expenses, mostly online gambling. Her actions came to light when KiwiBank flagged suspicious activity. The case serves as a stark reminder of the need for strong internal controls in financial management. Warren admitted to one charge of obtaining by deception and one charge of failing to appear in court. Her sentence sends a clear message that abuse of position for personal gain will not go unpunished.
In a quiet but significant move, New Zealand's government is fast-tracking a bill to relax foreign investment rules. With little public debate, the Overseas Investment, National Interest, Test and Other Matters Amendment Bill, backed by Associate Minister of Finance David Seymour, aims to streamline the approval process for foreign investment. If passed, it could reduce the scrutiny of overseas investments, especially in forestry, by limiting ministerial decision-making to national security concerns. And makers argue that this approach may undermine New Zealand's ability, a product of the ACT National Coalition Agreement, has strong concerns over its lack of efforts, with public submissions closing. In July, the debate over this bill highlights the tension between attracting foreign investment and safeguarding national interest. As the bill moves forward, the lack of thorough analysis and the punches of concern among experts and stakeholders, the implications of this legislation, Crawford's.
In Porirua, a memorial is being planned for over 1,800 former patients of the local hospital who were buried without headstones, but Pacific leaders are stepping in, demanding that the memorial process in cultural ceremonies to be part of the honoring. Some descendants of the buried have already come forward, and the council is placing markers at their graves. However, many Pacific community members say they were not consulted about the memorial will be designed. A Cook Islands leader emphasizes that the way the memorial is built matters deeply for the Pacific. The Porirua City Council says they're sharing the list of names publicly and asking for help from all communities to find more families. Pacific councillors are pushing for the memorial to reflect Pacific values, with space for prayer and reflections, trauma, and restore. The council has applied for funding to create the memorial, which will list every known name. People who recognize a family name on the list are encouraged to contact the council. This is not just about remembering the past, it's about ensuring that the process of the Pacific people are heard and respected in the process.
Greer Trees, celebrated as the godfather of contemporary sculpture in New Zealand, has left an enduring legacy through his artistic contributions and mentorship. His innovative works, such as Karangahape Rocks and Flight Support for Albatross, continue to inspire, while his role as an educator shaped the careers of many artists. Tributes pour in as the art world mourns the passing of a visionary who redefined sculpture in Aotearoa.
Auckland Council is under scrutiny as it investigates the liquidation of a property company owned by Jazz Singh, the Chief of Staff to Mayor Wayne Brown. The company Traxing Investments Limited has been declared bankrupt and owes nearly $560,000 to the Inland Revenue Department. Council Chief Executive Phil Wilson confirmed the investigation was initiated at the mayor's request, highlighting that even though mayoral staff have a degree of independence, they are still considered council employees. Singh, who has held various roles in the company but not its liquidation. The council is now looking into whether any property developments linked to Singh were approved. Singh has declined to comment on the circumstances leading to the liquidation. As the investigation continues, the situation has sparked concerns about transparency.
Timo Tute, headmaster at Auckland Grammar School, has called for the abolition of NCEA due to its perceived flaws, including the privatization of credit accumulation over meaningful learning. He advocates for a new, international benchmarked, national qualification system that emphasizes reading.
In a new biography, Sean Levy dives deep into the life of Hollywood icon Clint Eastwood, balancing admiration for his legendary film career with a candid look at the controversies that shadow his personal life. Eastwood, now 95, has left an indelible mark on the filmdy of Hollywood. Levy's book, Clint, the Man and the Movies, avoids the extremes of previous biographies, offering a nuanced perspective that neither glorifies nor condemns, but instead presents the facts for readers to judge. The biography of Ross Eastwood's evolution as a Dilhide, tracing his roots back to his early work on Rawhide, Tracing Heat. Yet the book also confronts darker aspects of Eastwood's life, including allegations of infidelity and domestic issues, though some critics argue that the personal side of his story is not explored in enough depth. As the genre biography approached the lives of complex figures like Eastwood, can we truly capture the full complexity of a person, or must we accept that some aspects will remain elusive? This biography is a valuable addition to the literature on Eastwood, offering both a tribute to his artistic contributions and a reflection on the complexities.
DD veteran and TikTok star Papa Jake Larson has passed away at the age of 102. Known for his humor, warmth, and dedication to remembering the sacrifices of his fellow soldiers, Larson touched the lives of millions around. He left behind a legacy of love, resilience, and an unwavering commitment to honoring those who came beloved in Narmant.
In a tragic incident, Israeli forces opened fire on crowds of Palestinians trying to collect humanitarian aid in Gaza, killing 93 people and sent. The UN World Food Programme condemned the violence, calling it completely unacceptable and urging an immediate cessation of hostilities. Israel's military disputed the death toll, claiming soldiers fired warning shots to remove an immediate threat. However, the persistent pattern of civilian casualties of both sides. The UN has reported nearly 800 aid seekers killed since late May, with many deaths occurring along aid convoy routes. The humanitarian situation in Gaza continues to deteriorate, with over 2 million people displaced and essential services collected. The Pope recently condemned the barbarity of the war, following an Israeli strike on Gaza's only Catholic church, despite ongoing indirect talks for a potential Qatar. The situation remains precarious, with millions of Palestinians left in despair.
That's all for today's news. We appreciate your time. If you enjoyed this update, please consider subscribing. Your support helps us keep going.